Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This week we have Parsha Mishpatim. So it's very interesting actually. Last week we had the revelation in Mount Sinai. We had the entire Jewish people have this experience of God, this revelation of God to Israel after they've left Egypt. And so, we have the Ten Commandments. We really ended off with the Ten Commandments, a little bit of commentary on that last week. And then this week it seems very much out of place. We have a text, or we have right at the beginning, basically right after the Ten Commandments, right after the revelation of Mount Sinai. We have God telling Israel, or God telling Moses. He says, "And these are the laws, the Mishpatim, the ordinances that you shall place before Israel." And it starts talking about the laws of slavery. It says, if you buy a Jewish bondsman, in other words, if you own another Jew, he shall work for 6 years, and in the seventh he'll go free. And they start talking about that, and they start talking about these other civil laws and judicial laws and things like that, and it definitely seems very much out of place. I mean, where did this come from? And I think that there's one strong idea that we can talk about, is that we have the Jewish people who were enslaved in Egypt. Everyone who came out of Egypt, really, they had spent their entire lives, the entirety of their life, in slavery. And so they come out of Egypt, and to them, you can't go from 0 to 100, right? You can't go from complete slavery to complete freedom. Such a concept you can't wrap your head around, and it's the same reason that you have, when you have very poor people winning $50 million in the lottery, you have so many of them losing everything and committing suicide. The same reason that, to get a little political, why is it that in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, the United States having such difficulty showing these people democracy? I mean, who in their right minds in places like Afghanistan and Iraq wouldn't want, a kind of democratic system, the kind of liberal democracy that the U.S. is trying to offer? I mean, given what they had, the kind of dictatorship and horror and things like that, totalitarian regime. But the point is that you can't go from 0 to 100. They have this kind of a mentality, they have this kind of an environment, and to simply say, okay, well, here, just go free, well, what does that mean? And so I think that this is the idea here with these laws. The idea here is that you have these people who just came out of Egypt, and instead of complete quote-unquote freedom, there's an idea that, here we have the idea of slavery, where you can't own another Jew. Now, of course, the whole idea of slavery here is that, you have to treat him well, is that if there's food, only one food for one, he gets it, not you. If there's a bed for one, he gets it, not you, and he has to be let go in the seventh year and all these things. So, for all intents and purposes, it's certainly not the kind of slavery that happened in Egypt, or what we even consider as slavery, but certainly by 2012 standards, it certainly seems to be backwards and outdated. And the entire point is that not that was the perfect system, not that was what should have happened, but that really was just the way for them to get out of that stage of complete servitude in Egypt. And I think that the lesson for us today is that when we're trying to, take that personal growth or personal development in our lives, if we're trying to go from 0 to 100 in a single step, I think that for most of us, it's not going to be successful. Most of us, we're going to regress, and it's going to be a big failure. And I think that the step we need to do is to really take one at a time. So if we're, for example, trying to grow in terms of our observance of kashrut, of the laws, kosher laws, to go from, bacon cheeseburgers on Monday to total kosher observance on Tuesday, I think is silly, and it's not going to help at all. We have to follow the lesson, the precedent here, in that we have to take baby steps, because that's the way human nature is, and that's the only way we can really move towards the ultimate goal, is to take baby steps towards, really following the law the way we should. So that's it for Parsha Mishpatim. Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom. God bless.